Let's make sure that we are turned on sufficiently turned on. Innuendo. In your what-o?
In your window?
In your window. All right. We are on. Still unable to connect to Facebook. Oh, well.
We're going to have to do a little research and figure that out at some point.
Yeah. But we are on TikTok and our YouTube channel. So, hello. Hello. Hey, I got a haircut today.
Yes, you did. You got multiple hairs cut.
I did. I got hairs cut and I got highlights and lowlights added. How does it look?
Meh.
Eh. In 4 weeks, I'm going to go a little bit darker. We're going to have a brunette, Christine. Well,
so I'll feel like I'm cheating.
You would like that. It won't be brunette. It'll still be this, but it's going to have some little bit dark. My dark browns here are going to be a little bit darker. That's all. So anyway, enough talking about my hair. I'm sure the men out there absolutely love talking about my hair.
Oh yeah, it's fascinating. Myself, I'm enthralled.
Are you?
Yeah.
Hey, Owen, how about midlights? I didn't get midlights. I used to have headlights that I don't have anymore. Hey, I gotta tell you guys what Mike did today.
What? You're always telling on me. What
I am. So Owen will appreciate this. It's just the three of us here. Nobody will hear this.
What's good, Owen?
So we were coming in the house, being gone all day, and a little bit of backstory to my PT appointment this morning, and I had on a compression bra.
No, come on, don't tell her that.
I'm going to tell the bad story. Hush. So I had on a compression bra and it kept bunching up in the middle. And so we went to Starbucks later on and Mike stood in front of me and I took it off. It was very easy to take off, but I took it off because it just kept bunching up and sticking out. It looked terrible. I came out of the bathroom and I'm like, look at this third nipple. I mean, I guess it's my one and only because I don't have one, but and so I took it off. We're coming home. We're walking up to the porch and we get up there and I said something to him and he looked at me and I'm like, what are you looking at? He goes, I'm looking at this. And I'm like, what? And I actually I have a little stain right below it that I just got. So I thought he was talking about that. And I'm like, what? And he goes, that. And I'm like, what? And he grabs it and tries to pull it. And he's like, that thing. And he was talking about the compression bra. He grabbed me. He grabbed my scar. He grabbed my scar and tried to pull it off. And I'm like, ow, what are you doing?
Yes, it was a proud moment.
He was so embarrassed. And now I'm telling the world about it. He loves when I tell on him. It hurt. And I'm like, why are you? At least now I know it sticks out. Gosh.
Yeah, you're always telling on me. You're like, hey, family, guess what Mike said to me today? Some douchebag thing that I said. How do you like that? What do you think of him now? And now like all your fans are like, really, Mike? You're grabbing her scar tissue? Yeah. Yeah.
I don't tell the terrible things. I tell the funny things.
What terrible things? Get out of here.
See?
Well, I see. Yes. You just like to get a rise out of me.
Yes. He doesn't do anything terrible. Today I was talking to my hairdresser, hairstylist, whatever. And I told him the story because I can't find my good toe rings. Yes, there are good toe rings and there are cheap toe rings. And I have some good ones and I can't find them. And I was telling her, I know Mike was the last one to have them because, and I told her this story about what happened with the anesthesiologist because the anesthesiologist walked in the room and Mike was trying to get the toe rings off of my foot. Well, he thought Mike was massaging my feet. And later in the OR, the anesthesiologist was telling the nurses and the doctor, the surgeon, about that and saying, I walked in and I thought he was massaging her feet. So I'm telling my hairstylist this, and she's cracking up, and she goes, I bet you'd like it if he massaged your feet. And I said, oh, he does. And she was like, looked all dumbstruck, like, what? And I said, he massages my feet. He always massages my feet. And she's like, wow, you are very lucky. I'm like, he likes them.
Yeah, that's not all I massage. Huh?
Ooh. Speaking of which, let me mention the topic that we are going to talk about tonight. And before we start, we will give you our contact information, because this is I think, a hot button topic that you might actually want to talk to us about further.
Trigger warning, yeah, sure.
Yeah, trigger warning. Tonight's topic is about cheating, and is it ever justified? Okay, just chew on that for a minute. If you want to get a hold of me, if you want to, get the women's perspective, you got questions for the woman, that would be me. You can reach me at Realtalkwithchristine at gmail.com. And
nobody wants to talk to the guy. No, it's fine. If you want to talk about scary movies, it's Shitlesspodcast at gmail.com.
And you can text him, you can email him about anything, except don't email him and flirt with him, because I will get mad.
It's a form of cheating. Yeah.
Is it? You know what? For a man, and we will talk about that. For a man, he may not, think much about a little bit of flirting here or there, a little bit of conversation that feels good. But what does a woman think about that versus actual physical something? We're going to talk about it. You drive 2 hours. What did I say that makes that in context? What did I say? What's that to? Mike?
Explain, Owen.
So you don't know either? Okay, I won't do it. Won't. Oh, you're not going to flirt with him? Thank you, Owen.
Ah, geez.
But you'll drive 2 hours to see him? Is that what you're saying? Okay, so to contact you, I'm a little lost.
Well, didn't you meet Owen once? Owen once?
I have met Owen.
And, yes, and maybe he drove 2 hours to meet you, yeah?
He probably did.
Okay.
Oh, maybe that was I drove 2 hours. I drove 2 hours. Not I drive 2 hours. Because I'm thinking I drive 2 hours. Anyway, we're getting a little bogged down in a comment. So we're going to move on. But yes, I have met Owen. Okay. So we have been very busy. I'm still recovering. I'm still in recovery mode, but I'm going to drive for the first time in almost 2 months tomorrow. Yay. I got released from my one and only appointment with PT. I went in one time and she's like, yeah, you don't need to be here. Just here's some stuff to do. Make sure you keep doing it. I have to do it for like 6 months. So, yeah, I'm done. I still have, a few appointments with the plastic surgeon, and I'll probably have another surgery in about 6 months. But for now, that's it. And I am what they call NED. NED. What do you think that stands for? It makes me happy. NED. Yeah. Well, they don't say you're cured, because you can't be cured from cancer. At least not breast cancer. Well, really any cancer.
Is it no evidence of
disease?
Disease. Okay.
No evidence of disease. It's the best they can give you. When you need no further treatment, they cannot detect any more cancer in you.
Okay. Yeah.
Technically, I could ring the bell, but I never went through chemo because I didn't need it. So I will just figuratively or virtually, or what would this be? Symbolically ring the bell. In case you don't know what that means, after you're done with chemo and you're considered NED, you ring the bell. You lived to ring the bell. So you survived. You're a survivor of cancer. So yes, I am that. So guess what this girl's doing tomorrow?
No more Miss Daisy.
No, well, yeah, I'm driving. Tomorrow's a big day. I'm driving for the first time. No, I'm not going to drive far, but I am driving. And then tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to the doctor and I am getting back on my hormones because this lady is sick and tired of hurting. And ladies, I'm going to tell you, when you stop your hormones after you've been on them for a while and you are postmenopausal, it hurts. It hurts. The pain. Let's not even talk about the brain fog or the sleeplessness or the dryness. My skin is so dry. But the
irritability, even,
which hasn't been a lot, but it's definitely been there, and it's
to
not
your
like
credit. You have combated that since day one. So,
but the pain, oh, the joints, the muscles, the bone pain, it hurts so freaking bad. So, yeah, tomorrow I'm going back and I'm going to be like, load me up, doc. Load me up because and I am being responsible, and we will be doing blood tests and we will be watching my hormones, make sure they don't get too high because I don't want, anything happening that could, cause a cancer or whatever. So I'm going to be, responsible, but I'm doing it and I can't wait. I tell men all the time when I talk to men about situations where their wife is no longer, so she's postmenopausal, she no longer wants sex, she no longer wants to do anything except her little hobbies, like maybe knitting or gardening or going to the club with the girls, but she's not interested in really doing anything with him anymore, not interested in him physically other than to maybe hold hands occasionally. When that is happening, especially when she moves into the phase of enjoying that part of life, especially if she was a woman who was very active sexually prior, like, you need to get her to a hormone doctor. And more often than not, what they say, she refuses to do hormones because it make her sick. She'll get cancer. Hormones don't cause cancer. Hormones, you can increase your risk for certain, like breast cancers or colon cancers or something. That is true. But what it protects a woman from is more likely to kill you. That's what the number 2 cause of death is for women. I forgot. I couldn't remember today. It's osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is the number 2 killer of women. Heart disease is the first. And guess what? Guess what the 2 things are that hormones protect a woman from?
Heart disease and osteoporosis?
Bingo. So when their body gets depleted, that's why those are the leading causes of death. This is a PSA, just so y'all know. This is my weekly, go get your mammogram and go get your hormones. Hormones protect your body. Hormones protect your brain. They keep you from getting dementia, or hopefully, at least they protect you. They protect your heart, and they protect your bones. So you need to do it for a lot of reasons. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I can think of a few more that we won't talk about, but yeah,
intimately, it really affects you a lot, which is what I started. That's why I'll tell the men she needs hormones, and he'll say, I've already tried. I have tried and tried and tried, and she won't do it because she's afraid she'll get sick. Well, then she's got no quality of life and she's okay with it. And that's not good. And that's because she's gone so long like this that her body's adapted. She's finally over the hump with all the pain. She has adjusted to the feelings because you get irritable and not nasty. And so she's adjusted to all of that and she doesn't want to screw with it. She's like, you know what? I'm an old lady. I'm round in the middle. I look like a grandma. I am a grandma and I enjoy gardening. Leave me alone. And what I say is if a woman has got to that place in a marriage and she will not sit with you and talk about solutions, because if she was still sexually active and you couldn't get an erection and you wouldn't talk about Viagra, what do you think she'd do? Same thing, right? It's the same thing. There are options for her. At the very least, she could use a vaginal cream, which does not do anything to your system regarding cancer or anything. That, at the very least, she could do to help. And if she won't, well, she needs to.
Owen says she's almost back. She can't stop. Yeah, I think he's talking about you.
What? She is almost back. She can't stop. I'm sorry. I know you're not complaining, but are you? Maybe. Is he?
Well, no. So a good little segue, since we've been talking about cancer, is that one of my earliest experiences with cheating, and it wasn't me, it was a member of my church actually, was basically ostracized because he cheated on his wife who had cancer with someone else in the church. And then his wife ended up dying, and he and the lady that he cheated with tried to come back to the church and start worshiping with everybody. And everybody was like, no, thanks.
Did they get married?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is a great segue into this, because there are people out there that probably feel like that was justified, as long as she didn't know about it, blah, blah, blah. Now, I think Owen is going to agree with my perspective on this, because the short, quick of my perspective is that there's never any justification. He should have talked to his wife. If it was so bad, and I understand it, I understand that she was sick, she was dying. He probably had already accepted her death to the point where he felt like she was dead. She was out of his life, which is very sad. But do you think he was happy about it? Probably not. It is understandable. It's still wrong. He should have talked to her. Now, if she's in a coma, all bets are off. There are exceptions to my feelings. But if she is still with him mentally, but she's sick and he knows she's, got a year or two left or whatever, or he's become her caregiver, even if she's got years left, but he is nothing but a caregiver. I understand that there is a need. Then go talk to her.
Have a conversation. Exactly. Yeah.
You tell her.
It's going to be an awkward conversation, obviously, but.
Yes, but Owen, I do believe, and if I'm wrong, Owen, please correct me, but I'm pretty sure he and his wife had that conversation, because he and I have talked about it, and I'm pretty sure he said they had that conversation. I'm pretty sure. I don't want to say any more of what my memory is, in case I'm wrong, but they had it. Yeah, you have to talk to her. Yeah, you have to. So that's what we're talking about tonight.
To cheat or not to cheat? Is it ever justified?
Is it ever justified? Is there ever a reason? See, Owen and his wife talked about it. His wife, they've been married for 46 years. His wife, kind of early on, they had like a good 8 or 10 years. And then she had breast cancer. And then no sooner they got her over that, and she had either a heart attack or strokes, but it was debilitating. And their life has been affected ever since. And I'm not, and Owen, please tell me to shut up. But we have talked about this on the podcast before. So I don't feel like I'm talking about you without your permission. I mean, I feel like I have it. But they got to a point where it was completely debilitating to their relationship. It completely changed the way it was. And eventually they had the conversation. And he tells her everything. And she wants to know. In some cases, Mike and I talked about this. In some cases, it might be you talk about it and your life is, and it's not necessarily medical reasons. Thank you, Owen. It's not, he said I could talk about it. But it's not necessarily medical reasons. It could be anything. It could just be you don't love each other anymore and you don't want to have sex anymore, whatever. It could be a lot of reasons, but for whatever reason, if it's not happening anymore and you're not in love anymore, and you have that conversation. Now for Owen and his wife, that conversation went something like, they had the conversation. I don't think it was him. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think like he went to her and said, I'm lonely and upset. What should I do? No, it was her. She went to him. And this would be me. This would be how I would be. She broached the topic with him. This has got to be something that you're missing. This has got to be something you need. If you need it, I want you to do whatever you want to do. But I want to know. All I ask is I want to know what's happening with my husband. And they made an agreement, and he's never acted on it, but he knows. I mean, can you imagine just the freedom, if nothing else, of just that feeling of a good conscience that you have discussed this with your partner. And sometimes you have that discussion and you both agree our lives are way too messy to get a divorce. And it's way too messy to live separately. We would both go broke. So let's keep doing what we're doing, and don't ask, don't tell situation. We can't let it affect our family life. And if it ever affects our family life, we can call each other out on it.
Yeah, and I've seen that a lot more in like long distance type relationships where the couple doesn't live together, or maybe there's a whole lot of money involved and they just don't want to get a divorce
Businesses and
mess with all that.
it's messy.
And you see it in movies sometimes, right, where the couple is wealthy and they're like, "Oh, I know all about his affairs, and he
I
knows
did
all
it.
about mine, and we don't care." It's
I did it. We lived that way for 2 years. And we would have I could have continued living that way. I mean, I'll be honest. I am such I am so bad. When I am done with somebody, I am done. And I was married to him over 20 years. Here's a funny thing. Today would be 26 years. But
happy anniversary,
right? But
ex-anniversary.
yeah. But I could keep living in the same household with him and be with Mike. Wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't happen, because he wouldn't do it. But it wouldn't bother me at all. I don't care. And I was very upfront with him about
Well, I would
everything.
love that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you would love it. No, of course, it would not happen. But I'm saying it wouldn't bother me. That's how disconnected I was from the whole thing, and how honest and upfront I was with him is the only point I'm trying to make, because it would never happen. And I'm also trying to say we would have done it for many more years. He is the one that decided, okay, it's time to go ahead and file for divorce. And that was because he finally met someone. And he is the kind of person that cannot go from one relationship to living alone. He has never lived alone, except when him and his ex-wife were separated. And even then, he was separated, but they were still working on it, so she would come over. So he wasn't really alone. He's never been divorced and lived alone. And he didn't want to do it. So he found
technically, because you guys had an agreement, that is not cheating, right? It's not even close to cheating.
I agree it's not, but I had men tell me, and I say men because most of my listeners have always been men. And I definitely had them tell me. And since when Chris and I were doing the podcast, I had women tell me that they don't care whether he knew or not. It was cheating. And I begged to differ. And I told them, but I don't understand how it can be cheating if I sat down and had a conversation with him and I told him I won't even date. I won't even think about dating unless you tell me that you don't consider it cheating.
I think that's probably a lot of like religious ideology. It's like if there is not an official divorce, even if the other person knows about it, it's still cheating, and that's fine. I'm not going to shit on anybody's beliefs, but again, I think that doesn't necessarily even come from, the actual definition of cheating unless you apply like just kind of this theology to it,
Yeah, it doesn't make what I did, the reasoning behind what I did, less valid. They don't agree with it from a religious standpoint or a moral standpoint, because I entered a contract with somebody and I was breaking it. But people break contracts all the time and they do it dishonestly. People cheat all the time and they do it dishonestly. And here I am telling them that I did something honorably, and they can't see their way into ever attaching the word honorably to what I was doing, just because we had a contract and it wasn't legally by the government dissolved yet. It had been dissolved by us and by God. in my book. But
Yeah, and if you even think about the word itself, cheating, it's, there's dishonesty involved, right? That's
yeah,
kind of what it means to
it's a
cheat. Whether you're cheating at
betrayal.
checkers or cheating on your spouse, there's dishonesty. It's if the other person knows about it and they're, for all intents and purposes, cool with it, it's not cheating.
It's not cheating.
It's something
Yeah.
else. It's an
How can
arrangement,
I
right?
be? Yeah. How can I be betraying someone who told me to my face it's okay? I
So
don't.
we should talk about why we chose this topic to begin with, right? How
Thank
we
you.
came up with
Thank
the
you,
idea to do
Owen.
cheating, to cheat or not to cheat. You sent me which I think you should post it on the Facebook page. You sent me a meme today. It
Oh,
was
that
like,
that inspired this.
yeah,
All
yeah,
you're talking about, all it said was, "Can a man ever reject sex?"
yeah. And then I said, well, yeah, obviously, yes. But um, a lot of men, I think, have a breaking point, right? And I brought up the example of that movie,
Knock,
Knock
knock.
Knock with Keanu Reeves.
And if
And
you
he,
haven't seen it,
oh, man.
big, huge trigger warning. If you have cheated and it's traumatized you, don't watch it.
Yeah, I couldn't even finish it, but and whatever. I mean, so the basic plot is that he's a family man. He makes decent money, and then suddenly these two beautiful young women
He's
show up
home
on his
alone for the
doorstep.
weekend.
Yeah, and these two beautiful women show up on his doorstep, start trying to seduce him. In every way possible, he tells them no until he doesn't.
For
They
a long
manage.
time, for like a few
Yeah,
hours. No,
they manage to find his breaking point though, and then he has relations with them,
And
and
that's
it proceeds to destroy his life. They exploit
right.
him, they expose him, and all of the times that he said no doesn't matter because eventually he did give in. And I think, again, that a lot of men have a breaking point. We talked about this with your stylist. It's like I brought up the Chris Rock example where he said, well, it's easy for women to say no because ever since they were 13 years old, every guy they've ever met's been trying to have sex with them, right? Guys, we don't have that. We don't know if there's going to be a return engagement.
So, and that's such bullshit, guys. That's bullshit.
There's always a little truth in jest, though.
No, it's such bullshit. So what Mike is not telling you is my response, and he's not telling you because he's hiding it. He was talking about his, what he said. But my response to him saying that about that yes, men can say no, but at some point they have a breaking point. They have a weakness. And that's why he has a problem with the movie Knock Knock. And he hates when somebody uses like a sexual seduction in order to
using sex as a weapon. Yeah, seduction as a weapon.
Weaponizing sexuality. And I agree. And then I told him, I said, but here's the thing. Okay, and I have to preface this by saying, and Mike knows this is true, and I mean, Owen and I have never been together in any sense of the word. We've met once, but Owen, as he pointed out, he's been along my journey since the beginning. And he knows, and Mike knows, that when it comes to sexuality, I'm very manly. I am, maybe I'm a bit of an anomaly when it comes to women. And I do tend to think like a man when it comes to wanting sex. And having said that, and I've always been this way, having said that, I have never cheated, except in a relationship where we had that kind of weird relationship. And I didn't consider that cheating. I considered that you're a dumbass for putting me in this, situation. So that's sort of doesn't matter. But so other than that, I've never cheated in a relationship. I've never betrayed anybody. And I have been in the knock knock situation, except he wasn't looking to destroy my life. Well, he kind of was. He really wasn't. He didn't want to harm me, but what he wanted to do was destroy my marriage. But he didn't, even though it would harm me and my kids, he was hoping to harm my husband, because my husband was cheating on me with his wife. So I seriously have been in this situation. This guy was someone I had a crush on for years. And to me, he was highly attractive, and he was always flirting with me, always hitting on me. And one night, he was a painter. My husband at the time was at his house. I did not know this. He was at his house with his wife. And this man came to my house because he knew I was painting my kitchen, and he's a painter. So he asked me, he's like, do you want help? You'll get it
Oh,
done
he's
a
a
lot
wall painter. I'm like, you fell for an artist? Like,
artist, not an artist. He's a wall painter.
okay.
So he asked me if I wanted his help, it would make it go a lot faster. We could do it all night. We could pull it all nighter. We took some like speed or something, stayed up all night, drank a bunch of coffee and knocked it out. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course, that would be great. So we were alone for about 7 hours. And no, we weren't working the whole time. And he had me on the couch a few times. He was seducing me the whole night. He finally got to the point where he's like, your husband's cheating on you with my wife. He deserves this. We should, he pulled out all the stops. And trust me, it was a difficult thing for me because, as I said, I was very attracted to him. I was in a horrible marriage with a piece of shit man that I knew was a piece of shit. And what I told this guy was, trust me, I think everything points to I'm dying here. I'm dying here. But I will not betray my marriage unless you show me a picture. If you show me a picture of my ex doing something, like valid proof, we're doing it right now.
Okay.
I don't give a
stop. Please stop right there. Okay,
I know.
You didn't mention that earlier, and we were talking about, is it ever justified? And now you're saying that in that moment, if
I haven't finished
photographic evidence, you'd have been in there.
I haven't finished. I did say that. I did. You gotta learn when I say hold on, there's more to the story. You just jump right in there. I knew you would. So I told him that is not at all, A, that's not what happened. I mean, he didn't have any evidence. And B, I did say that, but I told him that wouldn't happen either. But I would divorce the guy. And I told him that. I said, I might not cheat on him even with evidence, but that evidence is going to allow me to get a divorce.
And then we can do it. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. But see, he wasn't interested in that. He was just he was the knock thing.
He was using the situation to get in there. Yeah.
Yes. And I still didn't do it when it was extremely difficult. And then Mike hit me with, yeah, but it's like what Chris Rock says. And he said that thing.
It's easier for women to say no.
Because they, since the age of 13, have had to turn men down. Whereas men are like starving on a desert island. And they don't know when their next meal is. Which is bullshit because
you feel like because you have a high sex drive that doesn't apply to you.
No. No, that's not it. What I was going to say, and the only reason I was having a hard time is because of what it is. I may have been hit on, but I wasn't hit on in the traditional sense. I was abused from the time I was 6 until I got married. And I was even abused beyond that. I have a strong history of being abused by men. So I don't know how that dynamic plays into it. I actually believe, and the psychiatrist here, the psychology major should know this. I actually believe that is probably a lot of the reason why
I'm so either way. It's almost 50-50 the way it goes.
I understand,
this happened to my mother, and she went the opposite way.
But I obviously went the sexual, and that would make it even harder for me to say no. That would make me even more. It's probably why I'm very manly thinking when it comes to sex. But I still am a woman, so I still have the emotional connection.
And so my response, if you'll recall, was that is highly commendable. Obviously, you have a wonderful moral compass. Something that you may not have considered from a man's perspective is that in male culture, oftentimes it's not only excused, it's also encouraged. Maybe even from the time we were little kids, we see our dads looking at porn. We see, little forms of micro cheating, right? From the time
whatever.
All I'm saying is it's never right. Okay. It's never right.
You are not making a good case.
It's like when O.J. Simpson killed Nicole Brown Simpson and her lover because she watched the guy driving her around in his car, eating food in his mansion.
You are
I'm
not
saying,
making a
I
good
am
case.
not saying he should have killed her, but I
You
understand.
are making a horrible case for men. Men, I am so sorry, but he is making you guys sound like you have
Something
no
can be
willpower.
wrong. Something can be wrong, 100% wrong, but you can still understand the motivation, what may have led up to that wrong
I didn't
decision.
say
You can
that's not
still
true.
understand.
I didn't say that's not true. I clearly, when we were talking, and I could put the texts up if I knew how to do that, I would. When we were talking, I said, because he said, oh, all right, I'm going to look.
I will tell you because I remember I wrapped up a throwaway sentence with even if it's understandable or justifiable.
Nope. You did not use understandable. I did. Hold on.
Even if it is justifiable, however you want to put it. I know what you're saying. And that was not me saying that cheating is justifiable, okay? But
no, I didn't say it was.
It did raise the question, is cheating ever justifiable? And we've already touched on a couple of times where maybe it is. If your wife's in a coma, if your husband is in a coma and they can't give you permission to go out on them, maybe that's justifiable. I don't know. Probably depends on your personal beliefs, but that's something that people would probably understand and not necessarily even qualify it as cheating.
So,
are you digging back through our old text messages from today, like casual conversation and trying to pin what I actually believe on that? That's
no, because there is a difference between the two words that you used and the two that I used, my belief and your belief. There is a difference in the way that we framed it. And yeah, I wanted to say it without my glasses on. I can't find it.
The context matters because it wasn't even me saying this is what I believe, right? It was
me
like
anyway.
I'm gonna find it now for you because you're having a hard time.
He said that, there's like reasons behind it that are valid. Make it valid and good. That's what he said. Valid and good. Decision. And I said, I disagree. Well, first I said that's bullshit, that I disagree. Understandable and relatable. Yes, I do believe understandable and relatable. 100%. I get it. And that's what Mike just described.
Can I read you exactly can I please read you exactly what was written? I said, I've actually been proud of myself many times in certain situations, talking about cheating or not cheating. They say, why should you be proud of something you're not supposed to do anyway? Like some poor people saying, I take care of my kids, I pay my bills. But for some of us, the fact that we do what we're supposed to, despite certain backgrounds, baggage, and sometimes good or even valid reasons not to, is a monumental achievement. Reasons was probably not the right word, okay, but excuses not to. In other words, something that people can understand.
Which I also said, there are no excuses, and that's all they are. They are just excuses. And I said, understandable and relatable is true. I agree with that. I have talked to plenty of people who cheated, and when I talked to them about it and they told me why, I related to it. I understood it. I got it. But
yeah, can I give you an example of when I think it would be maybe valid? And I'm not saying it is, but it might. At least a lot of people might say, oh yeah, that's valid. You are in an abusive relationship. Another man that you work with or run into at the library or whatever it is you meet starts treating you like a decent human being, doesn't even know that, you're married or that you're being abused. He's just a good guy. You develop an attraction. He finds out, what, this guy's beating you. You guys fall in love. He tells you need to leave him, but you won't do it because you have 3 kids and he's threatened to kill your kids if you ever leave him. Are you supposed to not pursue that relationship at all just because you're married to an abusive bastard who has threatened to kill your kids if you leave him? That, I see, in a way, could be considered a valid cheating because you can't immediately necessarily leave that relationship. Now, you should, absolutely. But all I'm saying is that could be, from some people's perspective, a valid reason to quote unquote cheat because this person will kill you or your children.
Please, if anybody is listening to this, especially if there is a woman out there listening to this, do not think that was like advice or anything. It wasn't. It was just an analogy. It was just a little story.
It's a thought experiment.
It would be the worst thing a woman in that situation could do. The worst thing that a woman in that situation could do. Now, I hold to what I say about that it's never valid and there's never an excuse.
I said it was a good idea.
Can I finish? The reason in her particular case why it would be the absolute worst thing to do would be because this man has threatened your life and your children's life. If he found out that you were even talking to this man, and I lived in a relationship where I was basically a hostage. So if he found out, he would freaking kill you, possibly. So no, don't freaking talk to the guy. Don't do anything. And I'm not saying that is not heartbreaking. It is. Figure out a way to get out of that relationship. If you have to go talk to another man to that point, then you certainly have it in you to, go to a shelter or do something. You need out of the relationship. So no, I don't think that
is all of that is 100% true, but it is beside the point. It's totally beside the point. Is she justified in even emotional adultery at that point?
The reason why I'm saying it's not justified is that I have to say that's the reason why I feel there's always a reason to keep to your vows, keep to your promise. And the big reason is because of the consequences. That I'm going to stick to it. I will die on this hill. The consequences. I am a consequence person. I am the one that thinks through to the end and all the different ways it could what could happen. Anytime you cheat, any time you cheat is probably going to backfire on you, and it's going to shit all over your kids and your wife and everybody, or husband and your family in so many ways you can't fathom. It is not worth it. It's not justifiable. It's wrong. Talk to your spouse or your partner. Talk to them. If you are at a point where you're considering cheating, and if you're there are some people, and Mike and I know this, y'all probably know it. There are some people who just do it because it's a thrill, it's dangerous, and nothing's going to stop them. But if that's not the case, if the context is that you are in a relationship that makes you very unhappy, and I can go back to all the men that I've talked to over the years, when they tell me they cheat, I'll ask them what happened, and they have these valid reasons, and they're not reasons, they're excuses. And I will say, it's not just to them. I never heard a excuse that didn't sit on me saying, yeah, that sucks, and I get it. But then I would ask them, what did your wife say when you talked to her? And probably 9 times out of 10, it was, I didn't.
Right. Are you kidding? I couldn't tell her. I could never tell her. Yeah.
Right. And I know, and people scoff at me when I say, people scoff at me for 2 things, big things that I advocate for. And one is to talk about sex and intimacy before you decide to start really seriously dating someone. And the other is to talk to your spouse or partner before you decide to cheat, or when you're thinking about it. Those 2 things are they're what is the word? Counterintuitive. They don't make any sense logically because you're afraid. You're scared to death. And my thing is, what is the worst that could happen? And again, I'm a consequence person. What is the worst that could happen if you sit down and talk to them? That they divorce you. That would be the worst. That they divorce you and scream to the rooftops, he was going to cheat on me. He came to me. He talked to me. He told me that, oh, what do you say? What do you say? You're saying he was so fucking miserable that he came to talk to you, and before he did something, and you divorced him, and you're trying to paint him as a bad guy? He didn't do it. He told you about it. But what is the worst thing that would happen if you made the choice to not talk to them? And the reason that you wouldn't talk to them is because you're afraid they're going to say, I want a divorce. And then it's going to get messy. That's what stops you from doing it. And for whatever reason, and that can be really, really, really deeply nuanced, you don't want to get a divorce. It might have nothing to do, and probably doesn't have anything to do with your partner, quite frankly. It has to do with your quality of life that you're not willing to change. And so you cheat. And then what are the consequences? The consequences, you end up getting that effing divorce anyway. and she gets to paint you as a horrible person.
And yes, now they can hold it over your head. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And there's nothing you can do about it because you did fucking cheat and you didn't talk to her. So which way is the right way? Which way is the right way? We know which way is the right way. We also know what most people choose. And yes, women do it too. But our conversation is, can a man reject sex? And so we're talking about men here. And Mike's argument, and I get it, is that men think differently. And my hairstylist agreed with him. She doesn't agree that there's ever a valid choice, but she agrees, and I agree, that men think of sex in a different way. I agree with that. And we know it's true because women will say, so many women will say, I would rather you have I would rather you have a physical one-night stand with a woman and me find out than to have an emotional connection to a woman. That would kill me. That's the way a woman thinks. But a man, if a man finds out that another man is touching his woman, she is tainted. She is ruined. He doesn't want her anymore. And he will call her a whore. He will throw her away because he doesn't want her. Not all men think that way. Some men like it. But that's the day.
So I want to go back a little bit, back to when you were talking about your situation with your ex and the fact that you and the person who wanted to cheat with you, but you refused to cheat, stated that you both knew he was cheating on you, your ex was, and you actually said out loud, if I heard you correctly, show me the evidence, show me a photograph that he's cheating, and we can do it right now. Now
that was a momentary thing that I said in the heat of the moment, and I did say it.
Okay.
But then we continued to talk, and I told him,
look, say in that moment, you were thinking like a lot of freaking people would think.
But Mike, I also knew he didn't have a fucking picture. That was a no risk comment. That was almost, I was throwing the guy a bone.
Yeah, it'd be like if you asked him if he had any Grey Poupon, and it's like, no, I don't have it. Well, actually,
it was just me letting him know, hey, I want you, but there's nothing I can do about it. It goes against everything I believe in. He's out there doing the thing that you're asking me to do. How can I think poorly of him if I'm doing it too? I don't care if it's retaliation or not. You don't do it. So no. I will die on this effing hill. I will die on it. I believe in what I'm saying. And everything, the argument is not that I don't understand. I do understand. I guess the one thing that bothers me about the man argument and the weakness is that it's men want to be big and bad and strong and macho and all of that stuff until it comes to sex. And when it comes to sex, I'm just a weak man. She found my weakness. She exploited me. She got, bullshit. Bullshit.
All right. Now, you mentioned the fact that I'm a psych major, okay? And I want to revisit the abused woman trope for just a minute, because we're thinking about it in black and white terms that no, oh my God, you should absolutely, but from her perspective is what I'm talking about. And
which is my perspective.
How could it be morally defensible for her to cheat? And what I'm saying is it absolutely could be morally defensible from her perspective. I'm not talking about the practical solution of your husband's going to kill you if he finds out you're cheating. That's not what I'm talking about. From her perspective, the marital contract has already been violated.
He Googled it.
So yes, absolutely. I freaking Googled. I said, what is the psychological justification for a woman?
There is no justification.
Within an abusive relationship, cheating on her spouse. And you just don't even want to hear it because it's like, no, it's never okay. So what I'm asking you to do,
you're gonna say what it is, but all I'm saying before you finish, you interrupt me all the time. Shut up. You interrupt me all the time, and you clearly told me last week that I should interrupt you, that you would like
absolutely.
So be quiet and just let me say this one thing before you finish. It is never justifiable, period. But what you're going to say about her being abused and all of that is separate from her, marital, the fact that she is still morally married. She needs to get divorced. She needs to leave that for very many reasons, the least of which is the fact that she has found out, wow, there's actually men out there who are good. and I need to be with
Yeah,
one.
and you already made all of that very clear. What I'm talking about is somebody who is in that situation, trying to get out of that situation, and maybe they don't have, the balls or the wherewithal or the background or whatever it is that it takes for her to do that cleanly and wisely and all the things. Survival and emotional stability can override ordinary duties, including marital duties. Okay. And then the last thing, the affair may function as support, escape planning, or psychological survival. And all of that matters from
And
the
you don't
perspective
have to be
of someone
sleeping with
being
him to get it. You do not have to. As a matter of fact, I advocate that don't sleep with him to get it, because you don't need to. You're going to be better for being friends with him, knowing that he's going to help you because he's capable and willing. And that, yes, this is probably going to lead to a relationship because y'all are attracted to each other, and it goes deeper than that probably. But you're not going to sleep together. That's a place you shouldn't be going, especially in the situation you're in. I mean, I say that for anyone, but in a situation like that, I double down. Don't. That doesn't mean that if you have found a friend, an ally, someone who is capable of helping, that you don't use them. Allow them to, not use them, but allow them, accept their help. Yes, but that doesn't mean you sleep with them. That's all I'm saying.
We have some trolls.
So Lamar, leave them alone. Is he talking to? He's talking to himself.
He's talking to himself. Yeah, I'm just gonna block him.
It's funny. Hey, Lamar, how do you think that you end up getting people watching you? I mean, we have plenty of people watching our podcast, listening to our podcast. How do you think you get people to watch? Don't you have to be consistently there? I think that's the way that works.
Appreciate the input, though. So
Yes.
you may wonder why I'm slightly dying on this hill, and I'm absolutely not saying it's always okay to do this if you're in this situation. But
before you finish, Owen, yes, I agree. Get out first, no matter what. I told you I thought he and I would probably be on the same page. But go ahead, Mike.
So this happened to my mother. She was in a horribly abusive relationship with my biological father, and she did not see any way out. He was that controlling and manipulative, and she met a man who treated her like a queen, and things just started to develop over time, and they started to develop an exit strategy, and along the way, they became intimate. Now, again, I hear you. It's never 100% okay, but what I am saying is I understand, especially from her perspective. She wanted to be loved by someone who knew how to treat her, and I completely understand. Okay, but I'm not saying
what's great. That's what's great about our podcast, and that's why for the 2 years that I did my podcast alone, I always wanted a man as a co-host, because this is a great topic to have the male and female perspective on, and we completely disagree. I mean, like we do fundamentally agree on the fact that it's wrong, but we completely disagree on whether it's ever acceptable, excusable, valid. I don't, because I believe in honesty. I believe, and I'm not saying that Mike doesn't. It's just, everything is different. The perspective, everything's different. You just don't know. Situation to situation. It doesn't mean you're a dishonest person. It just means in some situations you think that you need to maybe not be as honest, which we talked about that today also. I do believe that there are some situations, and I myself have lived that experience. And I have kept something, a lie of omission, I guess, from someone. So I'm not saying it's not a valid way to go sometimes. I'm just saying I personally don't believe betraying someone that at least you once loved is ever excusable or ever has a valid reason. I just think that that's part of the problem today and probably has been forever, that people don't choose to talk about something when they see that there's danger on the horizon. They see it's coming, and they don't choose to talk to their partner. Not only do I not get it, but I'm like, I mean, why be in a relationship if you can't even talk about things? And if you choose to betray them, obviously you don't love them. And again, there are people out there that do it for the thrill of it. I mean, men and women. There are people who simply do it because of the thrill, and they're not going to stop. Even at the danger, at the risk of losing their relationship with someone they probably do love, but they're fucked up. I mean, it's just the way it is. Some people that's just how they want to be. And the person who married them or is in a long-term relationship with them, they didn't know that until they were there. That's different. That's different. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about your standard, your standard betrayal and cheating.
Yeah.
And
we both talked about kind of extreme situations where, you can kind of at least understand, okay, yeah, I get it, still not right though. And we're agreed on that. By the way, I want to be perfectly clear. I am saying along with you, it is never morally justified to actually cheat on your spouse or your significant other. Okay. That doesn't mean I didn't understand why or what led you to it, but even in extreme examples, okay, and I gave a couple, right? It's still not morally justifiable, right?
Right. Yes. And you've given some examples of choices that were made to go ahead and do it with extreme situations. Mm-hmm. And again, understandable, but I was in the same situation. Didn't happen. I'm not, by the way, I am not, anybody listening to this, I'm not trying to say that I'm better than anybody, because
I'm like not. Christine, have a moral compass,
No, yeah, that's not, I am not saying that at all. But this is an opinion, channel. So that's my opinion. And I have experience, and that's what this podcast has always been about, always sharing my experiences. And my experience, I am sorry. I am so sorry that I have an experience that I can share that has to do with this very topic. And I made the decision that I advocate for, which is to say no. Was it easy? No. Was it like Knock Knock? Fuck yeah. Did I Keanu Reeves?
I can't get through that movie. Oh my God.
Yeah. And you know what? If I had made the choice that he made, the same thing would have happened to me. That man would have blown my life up. Now, even though I was in a bad relationship, he would have blown my life up. And it's very possible that my ex-husband could have we don't know what he would have done. So, but I didn't make that choice, so I never had to find out. And I didn't stay in the relationship that much longer, maybe like 4 or 5 years longer.
What is it they say nowadays? FAFO,
Yeah, fuck around.
White tip fate, yeah.
So I have a question for you. What do you think the odds are that this new troll?
Oh, I don't even see any. Like I think I deleted all the little army of trolls that showed up.
It's the same guy. It's the same guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love when people come in.
Slight variations on the same name. Of course, it was the same guy.
Well, not only that, but they troll you the same way. It's like, wait a minute. You're the same person. Get the fuck off. Go away. No. You know what, troll? I wouldn't block you. Mike blocked you. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I think what? Life's too short for the bah humbug routine. If you only show up to troll, yeah, I'm sorry. We got a show to do, okay? I don't have time to fuck with you.
Hey, big jiggler, whatever your name is. I can't even
see what you're looking at.
Why don't you fucking show up at the beginning of the fucking show and find out what the fuck the topic is? Why do you come into a room, 1 hour later when we're at the end of it and tell us that we have to tell you what the fuck we're talking about? I'm just saying, what the fuck, dude?
Anyway, we're coming up on an
Hey,
hour,
how many times
and
did I say fuck?
I think we're agreed, right? I mean, cheating is always wrong. Even though sometimes in odd circumstances it may be understandable, it's still wrong. It's like lying, right? We all know there's little white lies that you might tell that, to spare someone's feelings or something. Technically, it's still immoral, okay? You are bending the truth.
Technically.
Okay, literally, you are doing something, immoral.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother argument. Is it ever okay to lie? I mean, okay, I don't know. But cheating, it's cheating is not lying.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
thought
really,
I
right,
thought
it's
you
a
meant
form of
cheating
dishonesty.
was. I thought you meant
No, no, no,
cheating
no.
was
I was
technically
talking about, I was using the
lying.
analogy of a little white lie. And really, that isn't quite comparable because cheating is a whole nother level of dishonesty. We're talking about an added component of betrayal as well, right? So
Yeah.
you just can't justify that, really, even in the most extreme circumstances. But again, it may be understandable, but not justifiable. So I'm glad we
Yeah.
established that. I'm glad we
So
were able to.
I do want to say one thing to the Sheik. In all
I don't even see
seriousness,
the people that you're referring to.
in all seriousness, so what I just my little tirade there, I was just kidding. In all seriousness, though, we comment throughout our podcast and we repeat the name or the title or the topic over and over again. So we keep saying, so is it right to cheat? Is it ever right? Is there ever an excuse? So I'm just saying, if you're actually listening, you will catch on to what the topic is. Yes, a very, very bad woman. Yes.
I love it. Yeah, baby, we've made it. We had our one troll a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, and then now we've got a little army of them. Although it's all obviously the same guy, like you said. So
yeah, I love trolls. Love them. They don't bother me at all. Look, I mean, I've had rooms filled with people, and a troll would come in, and I have a blast with them. I don't have any I don't have any feelings of insecurities or inadequacies of not having an audience. I know what I'm capable of.
no, and besides that, like this is YouTube, which is a very small part of what your show is.
Yeah.
We're also on like 20 other platforms, through
And
what
we're
is it,
new
RSS?
here. We're new here. So, the only way to win the battle is slow and steady, consistency. And, it is what it is.
But yeah, thanks to the actual contributors to the show who showed up or who lurked and who continue to contact us, privately and check out our other shows. You should mention your other show, yeah?
Well, I think we should mention
Our parent company?
Yeah, we have started a umbrella company. It's a production company, and it's going to house all the edgy, unfiltered podcasts. So we're hoping to have a whole lineup of podcasts that are very interesting. And yeah, guys, it is true. The majority of the podcasts you'll find on in our company is edgy. It's edgy. It's edgy. It's kinky. It's intimate. But there's other things as well. That's not all it is. We talk about breast cancer and sexuality after a mastectomy. So, I mean, there's that. We have horror show reviews. What is the new one that we were just talking about adding?
Scared Titless. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, we have that and that basically is my that's what I was talking about, my journey, my cancer journey. But no, we were talking about adding a review podcast.
Food reviews, yeah, and maybe product reviews as well. So yeah.
I think it should be, I think we should look for something that is just, reviews in general. But the point is, we're going to have a lot of different categories, And we're hoping that within like a year or 2 years, we haven't wrote the plan out yet, but we're hoping to eventually, have a nice sampling so that it'll be your one-stop shop place for pretty much anything that is interesting. Crime, mystery. We're both crime buffs, like mystery buffs. Yeah. So that's what we're doing now. It is called a Hunny Hive Productions. Hunny Hive Productions. And the website is up, but it's not finished yet. When it is finished,
what's the URL?
it's Hunny Hive. HU here. I will put it in here. I don't know. When you rewatch these, does the chat come up?
Not when we repost it after we do the live show. When it reposts, the chat doesn't come up, which is a little bit sad for all our trolls who put on all this effort this evening.
That's true, because now we're going to talk about it and people won't even see it, see what we're talking about. But that's the URL. Like I said, if you go to it right now, you're just going to see the bones of what we're doing. You're not going to see the finished product. It'll be a little while before it's finished. There's a lot of work to be done. We have to, put all the podcasts up. We have to, we'll probably put samples. We have one sample. Yeah, there's stuff that needs to be done. And we'll also connect all the if there's blogs or blogs or websites attached to any of the podcasts we have in our company, we'll attach the link so you can explore them further and get to know the hosts and whatever. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, we may not be live on our other shows, but I think we have enough content at this point to post something for every day of the week.
And this is the only show that we do live.
Yeah,
we do it once a week, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we will continue doing it 7 p.m. Eastern, Tuesdays, every week with a new topic. And yeah, I mean, if it's something that you find interesting, just join us. You do not have to engage with us, regardless of what we've been talking about. And I tell people this all the time. You can join us in the chat room, but you don't have to talk. A lot of people don't like to talk.
But if you do talk, be respectful, or I will boot your ass. She won't. She's too nice. I'll kick you the fuck out.
All right, guys. See you on the other podcast. See you on TikTok. See you next Tuesday.